Everybody wants to have a good physique, right? You want to be able to take your shirt off in the summer and have a physique that demands respect. So I'm going to show you the exact method that took me from this all the way to this in just 3 months. So if you are a busy guy, 20 to 50, and you want to lose about 20 pounds in the next 90 days, this is my 4-step method to getting lean. And I call it the core method. The C stands for clarity. The O stands for optimization. The R stands for routine. And the E stands for execution. The first step in this 4-step method is going to be clarity. You need to know how you're going to get to where you want to go. So basically, the first pillar of clarity is finding a split. When you go to the gym, you want to know what muscle groups you're going to hit, kind of what workouts you're going to do. You kind of want to have it all laid out in front of you so you have clarity. And then the second piece is you need to figure out how many calories you need to be intaking to make sure that you are in a proper deficit and you're going to lose this weight. And then the last piece is I'm going to show you how to track everything. The first pillar inside of clarity is your split. You need to know what you're going to do when you get to the gym. So I'm going to show you my 6-day split, and I'm going to show you also a 3 to 5 day split. So what I currently run is push, pull, legs, repeat. So for day 1, which is a push day, it's going to be chest, tricep, and shoulders, all of your pushing muscles. And what I do exactly, because I want to be in and out of the gym, I do 2 movements per muscle group. So chest is going to get 2 movements, tricep is going to get 2 movements, shoulder is going to get 2 movements. Now, inside of these 2 movements, because we're trying to maximize time, I do 2 sets by 8 reps. So each set has to be taken to a complete failure because we're not doing a lot. As you can see, this is an easy 45-minute workout, which I personally do because I take everything as hard as I can. I like to be in and out. So 2 by 8 will only work if you are training to proper failure. Now for day 2, it's going to be pull. So it's going to be all of your pulling muscles, back, biceps, and forearms. We cannot neglect the forearms because it is the one thing that is mostly seen whenever you are just wearing a t-shirt, and you want to make sure that you have some respectable forearms so that they can tell, yeah, you're ripped. So basically it's going to be the same theology as the push day. You're going to do 2 movements for each muscle part, and each one of these is going to be 2 by 8. So you pick 2 movements for back, 2 movements for bicep, 2 movements for forearms, do 2 sets of 8 to complete failure. You want to go heavy. You want to push yourself because it is only going to work if you really push yourself. At that point, if you're not going to push yourself, you might as well do 3 sets of 20. Now the third day is going to be legs, but this can get a little bit confusing if you're running the same exact split as me. I split my legs into quad days and hamstring days. So my first day is going to be quad focus. So we're going to have quad calves. The only reason that for legs things are going to change is because I'm only hitting quads 1 time a week. And as you can see here, I have a repeat. So I'm hitting these muscles again. And the optimal amount of sets per week is 8 to 10. So I stay at an 8 rep range for all of my pushing muscles and pulling muscles. It's going to get 4 sets here, 4 sets here, which ends up being 8 by the end of the week. But I split my leg days up into quad focus day and then hamstring focus day. So what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to do 3 movements for quad, and then you want to do them at 3 by 8, making sure that you take them to complete failure, because then that's going to be 9 sets for quads by the end of the week, which is optimal for hypertrophy. And then for calves, since I do it on both my first leg day and my second leg day, I do 2 movements and 2 by 8, just like all the other times. Now, if you are a busy guy and you don't have enough time to go to the gym 6 days a week, I would recommend doing at least 3. What I would do is I would probably up these sets to about 3, really push myself, and then I would just kind of combine both of these leg days. I would just add in a little bit of hamstring and quad so you can just hit all your muscle groups, push yourself, and you will make gains going just 3 times a week. If you have the time, I would recommend trying to go maybe 4, 5 times, up to 6. Now the last part that's going to pull this entire thing together is once you have your split figured out, you want to figure out what workouts you're going to do. So for me, this day and this day are completely different workouts, but it's the same philosophy. I'm hitting chest, I'm hitting triceps, and I'm hitting shoulders. And these 2 days, the workouts are completely different. But the way that I do it is for at least 12 to 16 weeks, I do the same exact workouts. So this week will just repeat, and then it will repeat, and then it will repeat. And the thing about that is you want to be tracking the weight that you use for each exercise. When the next week comes and you're doing the same movements that you did there, let's say on Monday, I did some incline bench press. I saw what I did last week. Okay, I did 225. Let's try to go to 230 this week. You try to every single week get stronger so that you have proof that you are building muscle. Because if you're obviously getting stronger, you know that you're building muscle. Now, the second pillar inside of clarity is you need to know how many calories you need to intake in order to properly lose weight. So a little baseline that I do is I take my body weight, I times it by 15, and let's say it comes out to 2,500. Let's say that right there is my maintenance. If I ate that many calories per day, my body weight would stay the exact same. Now, when it comes to figuring out your deficit, you can minus it by 500. This will allow you to lose 1 pound per week, or if you minus it by 1,000, you're gonna lose 2 pounds. And over the course of a whole month, you could lose 4 pounds, or you could lose up to 8. Or sometimes when your body's like clearing stuff out, you can lose up to 10. If you are a bigger person at the start, you are going to lose a weight a lot more rapidly because you have a lot of stuff that your system is going to completely clear out when you start eating healthier and you start working out. So once you do figure out your calorie deficit, let's say you need to eat 2,000 calories per day to lose weight, then you want to figure out, okay, how are we going to make sure that we hit the 2,000 every single day? And that's when you download an app called MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal makes things super easy to track all the foods that you eat throughout the day. And you only have to do this for about 2 weeks. Once you track for the first like 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to have an idea of, okay, this is probably about 600 calories. This is probably about 700 calories. And then the piece that ties this entire thing together is tracking your weight. You want to track your body weight every single morning. Step on the scale, write down the number, and then you're going to take the weekly average and you're going to be like, okay, I lost a solid pound this week, or I lost a solid 2 pounds this week. And you're going to look at all the things that you tracked in your MyFitnessPal and you're going to be like, okay, 2,000 calories is helping me lose weight. But if fat loss does stall and you're sitting at the same weight for an entire week, you're going to want to drop this number by 200 calories and possibly up your steps or up your just activity level overall. And the third and final pillar, as I just talked about in the last one, is going to be the tracking methods. You're going to want to use MyFitnessPal to track your calories. It's a free app. Just everything you eat, you put in there and you start building good habits of like, I can eyeball this. I know how many calories is in this. And then you want to track your body weight every single day. And those two numbers alone are going to allow you to control your weight loss. You're going to see your weight going down and you're like, okay, 2,000 calories is working for me. I'm consistently losing weight. And then if fat loss stalls, as I said, drop the calories, try to up your steps a little bit more, and then fat loss is going to continue happening. Now, the second step is optimization. You need to make sure that what you're doing is going to fit into your schedule and actually be optimal. And the 4 pillars inside of optimization are protein, steps, progressive overload, and sleep. The first pillar inside of optimization is going to be protein. You want to get 1 gram per pound of body weight. That's going to help keep you full, kick your metabolism up, and allow you to keep the muscle that you do have when you are losing weight and dieting. Because studies have shown if you do a proper 500 calorie deficit, you can lose weight and build muscle. Anything more than that, you are risking burning some muscle, and then protein is going to help you keep as much muscle as you can while you are dieting. Now, the second pillar inside of optimization is going to be steps. You need to get steps in throughout the day. You want to shoot for about 8 to 12,000 steps. That's going to burn about 500 calories. So if your fat loss is stalling, you probably need to up your steps because those burn a lot of calories. It also helps you with recovery. Overall, walking and getting your steps in is a must if you want to lose weight. And some of the simple ways that I get steps in while I'm working and doing things and I don't really have time to just go on a walk is I have a walking treadmill literally right here that when I'm at my desk, I just walk on that. I can get a bunch of steps in that way. And some other ways is if I'm taking a call, I like to just walk around my house. I keep pacing. I try to stay active. I try to not just lay in bed all day or just sit at a desk all day. I try to stand up, be more active, and just try to move around a lot more, and that's going to help you out majorly. Now, the third pillar inside of optimization is progressive overload. And what progressive overload is as I said before with your workouts, why I repeat them is so that I do the same workouts and then I can just up the weight, progressively get stronger over time so that you know you're building muscle. Because I mean, that's the most important thing. If you can physically see yourself pushing more weight every single week, that's going to give you the motivation to continue going. And you're going to know in the back of your head, yeah, I'm stronger now. Like, I know that I'm building muscle. Now, the last pillar is going to be sleep. And this is the most important. If your sleep is trash, your consistency is going to go way down and your hunger is going to go way up. because you're not going to recover. You're going to feel like shit the next day. You're not going to want to go to the gym. And when you don't sleep very much, you get a lot hungrier. So you want to shoot for at least 7 hours every single night, and make sure to take your magnesium glycinate before bed. And the last thing I wanted to touch on is you don't need fancy equipment. I've helped Matt right here. I'll pop up his before and after. This is while doing at-home workouts. He didn't have a barbell. He didn't have much at all. All he had was a pull-up bar. He had a couple bands, and he had a bench with maybe 20-pound dumbbells. And he was able to lose 25 pounds just because he pushed his steps hard, his diet was on point, and he was doing what he could. And at the end of the day, if you are doing everything you can, consistency is always going to win. You got to try your best, be as consistent as you can, because perfection does not beat consistency. Perfection does not beat consistency. Let me say that one more time. Perfection does not beat consistency. If you show up for yourself every day and you really try your hardest, promise you're going to make progress. Now, the third step is going to be routine, and the 4 pillars inside of routine are daily weigh-ins, repeatable meals, repeatable gym schedule, and then prep day. The first pillar inside of routine is daily weigh-ins. The moment that you wake up, you go to the bathroom, you go pee, and then you weigh yourself. You get straight on that scale, you see the number, and then you write it down. And you do that every single day so that you can see the entire weekly average. And if it's consistently going down, you're like, okay, I just lost 3 pounds this week. So you know that your calorie deficit is working, but you're not going to know if your calorie deficit is working if you're not weighing yourself. Now, the second pillar inside of routine is going to be repeatable meals. You need to have meals that are going to be your go-to, that you know are going to hit your macros. So this is exactly what I do. For breakfast, I just have protein. Typically, I would just have 4 eggs, 4 servings of egg whites. It's going to keep me full for such a very low amount of calories. It's only 380 calories for about 44 grams of protein. Kicks your metabolism into gear, helps you keep your muscle, and just helps you have a little bit of energy throughout the day so that you're not just starving yourself. And then for lunch, I have a protein and a carb, and then it's the same thing for dinner. Now, when it comes to my proteins, to make things easy, you want to get good quality protein sources, and the ones that I rotate through: chicken, ground beef, shrimp, steak, and salmon. I typically will just get frozen bags of chicken and then thaw them out, cook them all at once, kind of meal prep it, or I just cook it on the spot. Same thing with ground beef, same thing with shrimp and salmon. Just good quality protein sources that are going to be the staple in your diet. And then when it comes to carbs, the best carb that's going to be the best bang for your calorie is going to be potatoes, and it is by far the best carb source. I would say that sweet potatoes are better than just regular potatoes, but I genuinely do not like the taste of sweet potatoes, so I just stick with regular potatoes. You can have about 300 to 400 grams for only 300 calories, and that's going to be a lot of potatoes on your plate. So the way that I do it, protein, just get it in quick in the morning. And if you do train in the morning, I would recommend adding in some carbs, whether it's like just a banana, some rice cakes, so that you have energy throughout your workout. And then for your post-workout meal, you're going to have the protein to make sure that you hold onto your muscle. Your muscle has protein to take in while it's trying to recover. And then you want to have good quality carbs so that you have energy throughout the day, and your body's also going to take that in to help you with recovering your muscles. Same thing for dinner. High quality protein source with a high quality carb, so that overnight it uses both of those to keep your muscle and make sure that you are properly recovering so that you have energy the next day. Simple and repeatable meals are always going to win and are going to significantly help you lose weight in the long run. And now, before we move to the next section, I want to tell you guys about a couple meal ideas that I think are really good, because typically I would just have like chicken and potatoes or ground beef and potatoes. But a couple other meals that I've been getting towards that is kind of like a snack in like the middle of this if I need some more protein. I really like tuna with mayo, and then I put a little bit of pickle juice on there. But tuna is a really good source of protein. And then I also have Greek yogurt with berries and honey. It has a good amount of protein as long as you get the 0 fat. You put some berries on top of that, you put yogurt, it tastes really good, and it's very, very repeatable. So you just have to find these repeatable meals that you can consistently eat, that are going to be good for you and for building muscle and for being in a deficit. Now, the third pillar inside of routine is going to be having a repeatable gym schedule. You need to make sure that you get the gym into your schedule, because if you're just dieting, you're going to lose muscle and fat and you're not going to build any muscle. But when you have a repeatable gym schedule and you know, okay, I'm going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, perfect. Set those days out for working out and make sure that you go in there for that hour that you need to go in there for. So you need to figure out what days are going to work best for you inside of your work life, whether, okay, I get off a little bit earlier this day, or like I have Saturday and Sunday off, so I'm just going to make those, like I'm going to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Whatever is easiest for you that is going to fit into your schedule and be something that you can repeat long term, because as I said before, consistency always beats perfection. So try to get in at least 3 times a week. Anything more is just a bonus. As long as you get in your 3 days and you're proper with your diet, I promise you, you're going to make amazing gains. The fourth pillar inside of routine is going to be prep day. You need to set out one day, whether it's Saturday or Sunday, to where you can prep for your entire work week. So you're not at work and you're like, well, I don't have anything to eat. I'm just going to go get some Taco Bell. I'm going to go get some McDonald's because it's terrible for you. So you want to set out one day, either like a Sunday, and you want to make sure that you have food for the entire week. So get a bunch of chicken, thaw a bunch of chicken out. The big rule of thumb that I stick to is I have half a pound of a protein with 300 grams of potatoes. So for my lunch that I would probably bring to work, I would just bring half a pound of chicken with 300 grams of potatoes. Do that for any kind of protein source and you track it. The calories are going to come up pretty similar depending on the protein source, but that's a really good rule of thumb. So typically the only thing that you're planning out for is your lunch, because you can eat the breakfast before you go to work, or you can just meal prep a breakfast. Same thing, you can cook up some eggs and then heat them up, or any kind of process. You could bring a Greek yogurt bowl to work. You can bring some tuna to work. You want to make sure that you have that prep day so that you can cook out your lunch, because lunch is going to be the most important thing that you get in, because you want to make sure that you're not starving yourself. That's going to actually hold you back. It's going to slow your metabolism down. You want to be eating 3 meals a day, high volume, low calorie, kick your metabolism back up and get that fat loss on the road. So having a prep day is very, very important. Then typically dinner is going to be when you get back home. You can cook it up or you can meal prep it if you really don't have time at all like that. You meal prep it all on Sunday. So when you get back, it's as simple as taking it out the fridge, throwing it in the microwave, making sure that you're making the right decisions so that you are shredded by summer. Now that you know what steps 1 through 3 are, step 4 is execution. And the pillars inside of execution are going to be track, photos, workouts, and adjust. Now let's get into what these actually mean. The first pillar inside of execution is track. You need to make sure that you're tracking your body weight every single morning and you're tracking the foods that you eat. Those are a necessity, because if you're not doing that, you're just guessing, and guessing does not get you anywhere. When you track your weight and you track your food every single day, tracking the food, you only have to do that for about 3 weeks, so don't get too hung up on that. But once you have a clear idea of the foods that you're gonna eat, you can keep doing that long term. But for the first 3 weeks, make sure that you track your weight and track your body weight for the entire time. Because when you can see your weight consistently going down, that's going to give you the motivation to keep going and keep pushing. And then when you see yourself looking better, it's going to give you so much motivation. Now, the second pillar inside of execution is going to be photos. You want to make sure that you're taking progress photos every single Monday, and make sure that you do it in the exact same spot, whether it's in your bathroom or if it's at the gym. Pick the same mirror and do the same exact poses. You want to do front, side, and then back. Just like that. Take the 3 photos in the same exact spot every single week so that you can look at them and be like, okay, a whole month from now, I'm looking way better. It's going to give you motivation. And then once you have everything in place, you're going to have the data for everything. You're going to see your progress photos. You're going to see your calories. You're going to see your daily weight. So if there are any holes, you're able to fix it because you can see everything. If you don't have any of that in place, you're just guessing. And that is mostly why everyone is plateaued or they're not making the gains that they should be. Because when you have the data, you can look at it and determine, this is helping me, this is not helping me. And now the third pillar inside of execution is going to be workouts. You want to make sure that when you're going to the gym, you already have a clear idea of what you're doing so that when you go into the gym, you're not guessing, oh, what machine should I do? How many reps and sets should I do? You go in there already knowing what you're going to do so that you can focus on having proper form, taking every set to complete failure, making sure that you're doing progressive overload. Your mind is not so focused on, oh, what should I be doing? Oh, what's next? Because you already have it cleanly written out. And when you have it cleanly written out, you go in there and you execute. And then you also want to make sure that you're tracking the lifts that you do. As we talked about before, you want to make sure that you're tracking the workouts that you're doing, have that week repeat, track the weight that you use so that you can see that you're getting stronger, because then you're going to have so much data and it's going to give you so much motivation because you're going to be able to see everything moving in the right direction. All 4 things are going to be moving in the right direction. Your weight's going to be moving down. You're going to be building muscle because you're getting stronger, and your photos are going to start looking better. And then all that coming together, you're just going to have such a clear picture in your head of what to do moving forward long term so that you can continue losing this weight, get to your goal weight, and then keep going from there. Now, the last pillar inside of execution is going to be adjust. You need to be able to adjust when life is throwing rocks at you. Like when it comes to your diet, if you're not losing weight, you got to adjust your calories. Or when it comes to your workouts, if life throwing rocks at you, you're super busy, you got to make sure that you find the time to adjust to fit in those 3 workouts a week. That is going to be the biggest piece, is being able to adjust around life when it gets busy, when it gets tough, when everything is going wrong. You got to be able to adjust and show up for yourself with everything that I talked about earlier in this video. And that was the full core method: clarity, optimization, routine, and execution. And with everything I talked in that video, if you want me to set that up for you for your body and your life, I'm gonna leave a link in the description where you can book a one-on-one call with me. We'll see where you're at right now, where you wanna go, see if we are a good fit to work together. So click that link, book a call with me, and let's get started.